Running a discount on your dead stock is honestly the fastest way to bankrupt your brand. I mean, seriously, just think about it. Every time you panic and throw up a 40% of warehouse clearance banner, you aren't actually saving your business. You are just permanently training your best customers to never ever pay full price again. And look, if you are a founder right now, staring at your shelves of slow-moving SKUs, I totally get it. The idea of running yet another margin-crushing and desperate store-wide sale is exhausting. But here's a crazy idea. What if we just didn't do that? In the next few minutes, you and I are going to take a walk through something that I call the inventory clearing creative. I'm going to show you exactly how to build a dedicated bundle campaign inside Meta that liquidates your dead stock at the full margin. We are going to frame it as an exclusive limited run collection instead of, a cheap clearance bin. Now, you could just click away and go right back into slashing your own prices, but that just destroys your brand equity and lets trapped inventory quietly choke out the cash flow. And I don't want that for you. So let's see what we can do to avoid all of this. For a little bit of context, I'm Peter Visabolc and I run Ads and Leads. And we will start with the foundation. So, if you want to move all the inventory without slashing the price tag, you have to fundamentally change how your customers perceives that inventory. And the secret isn't a better discount code, it's a better framing. So, how you take the product that hasn't moved in 3 months and suddenly make it the most desired item in your store. Now, here's the reality of the problem. When you slap a giant red 30% off sticker on a single hoodie or a standalone moisturizer, you are subtly signaling the market that nobody else wanted it. You are basically advertising a failure. And worse, your customers are smart. They notice it and they start thinking, why should I buy their new drop today if it's just going to be in the bargain bin in the next month? And this completely kills your future launches. Now, to fix this, we use the bundle of fare. Instead of isolating the dead stock and throwing it to the wolves, you reimagine it. You take 2, 3, or even 4 of these slow-moving SKUs that naturally complement each other and package it all of them together as a single cohesive unit. But here's the key. You don't call it the clearance bundle. You name it like a premium release. It becomes the midnight routine kit or the essential layering capsule. And you have essentially created a brand new high-value product out of thin air using the same exact inventory. Now, by doing this, you instantly erase the cheap stigma and you elevate the perceived value so much that the customer is actually happy to pay full margin simply because you did the styling and the curation for them. Now, you basically turn that weight into an exclusive release. But here's a catch. This beautifully curated capsule will completely flop if you show it to the wrong people. You can't just blast this out to a broad audience and pray for conversions, which naturally brings us to the exact segment of your audience you actually need to target if you want this to work. So, who actually buys a full margin bundle? Because if you nail this targeting, you skip the bargain hunters completely and tap straight into the wallets of people who actually eager to buy. Now, the secret to making this work is accepting that not all traffic is created equal. So how do we systematically find the exact buyers who are immune to this price sensitivity and just want the best possible experience? And here's the brutal truth. If you take this newly minted, beautifully curated capsule and feed it to a broad cold traffic, or worse, your standard retargeting pool of cart abandoners, you are going to bleed cash. Those people are trained to wait for a discount. They will click your ad, stare at a full margin price and bounce immediately. And you will blow your daily ad budget on these window shoppers. Instead, we have to engineer the algorithm to hunt for your ideal buyers. You do this by going straight into Shopify and exporting a very specific list. Your top 10% highest spending customers by lifetime value. Not everyone who ever bought from you, just your top 10%. Let's call them the VIPs. You take this elite list and upload it directly into Meta's Ads Manager and build a tight 1% lookalike audience right off of it. Now, by isolating this exact dataset, you are literally handing Meta the DNA of a premium buyer. You are telling the machine, do not bring me people looking for cheap deals. Go find me more people who care about quality, curation, and exclusivity. And just like that, you pair the premium capsule with an audience that is practically hardwired to buy it. But even with the perfect bundle and absolute perfect audience, this entire framework will instantly collapse if the ad itself looks like a standard, desperate e-commerce carousel. Which means we need to talk about the exact visual architecture that actually gets these high-level buyers to stop scrolling. So you have this perfectly curated capsule and you are pointing it directly at an audience of proven high-end buyers. I guess the final piece of the puzzle is the creative itself. Because honestly, how do you design an ad that stops the premium buyer in their tracks and makes them feel like they are unlocking a well-kept secret rather than being pitched leftover inventory? The biggest mistakes founders make right here is falling back on standard, exhausted e-commerce playbooks. So, if you take this exclusive bundle and you slap a giant neon buy now button on it, or cram the graphic full of text and flashy borders, you instantly shatter the illusion because it just looks cheap. Premium buyers have built-in mental ad blockers for that kind of desperation. If your ad looks like weekend clearance flyers, they will just scroll right past it and all of your strategic work we just built dies on the feed. Instead, we use what I call the editorial contrast. You ditch the flashy graphics and lean heavily into clean, high contrast typography and negative space. Think of the layout of a high-end magazine rather than typical Facebook ad. You use a raw, unpolished, native-looking photo of the item stylized beautifully together. And most importantly, you completely ban words like deal, discount, or clearance. Instead, your copy uses language like limited run, the Vault collection, or the archival release. This specific visual framing completely short-circuits their defense mechanism. It shifts their mindset from, oh, I'm being sold old stock, to, oh, I'm discovering something rare and exclusive. You perfectly align the premium product with the premium audience, allowing you to quietly liquidate your warehouse at full margin, while actually increasing your brand's prestige. And once you have this entire matrix running smoothly, it completely changes the math on how you scale your brand. Which brings us to the final but arguably the most important step in this entire process. So, when you combine the psychological frame of this premium bundle, the ruthless precision of a top 10% lookalike audience, and that clean editorial visual architecture, you will notice something interesting. You are not just moving a few boxes of old clothes or skincare out of your warehouse. You are successfully turning your biggest operational liability, the trapped dead inventory, into a highly profitable acquisition engine. And you wanna know the best part about it? That a massive influx of freed up cash flow can now immediately be injected into scaling your next major product launch. And just imagine your day-to-day look like when you never have to stress over your aging SKUs ever again. No more waking up in cold sweat forcing a panic-induced 40% off sale. No more cheapening the brand you poured your soul into building just to clear up shelf space or cover the overhead. You just get a smooth, predictable cash flow and a brand that only ever feels premium and exclusive. And this exact level of strategic, margin-protecting media buying is exactly what we can bolt straight into your business. Because at Ads and Leads, we are not just clicking buttons in the Ads Manager or launching generic campaigns and praying for return on ad spend. We use highly engineered paid ad frameworks, just like the one we walked through today, to scale your e-commerce brand predictably while forcefully protecting your profit margins. So, if you want us to build and deploy this exact framework that we just talked about today for your brand, then feel free to click the link in the description and book a call with my team and me. We will look under the hood of your business and map out exactly how to turn your trapped inventory into scalable revenue. But you need to act fast, because every single day you wait is another day when you are tempted to hit that fatal discount button that permanently damages your brand equity.